Welcome and thanks for joining us. My name is Dan Steinfield, head of school at Delaware County Christian School, home of the DC Knights. And this is the Roundtable, where we take time each month to speak to key individuals who are helping move the mission of DC forward. This month we're excited to have with us Shellie Marshall. Shellie Marshall joins us as our Dean of Students.
Yeah.
And we're so excited to have you on board, Shellie. Thanks for taking time to join us this morning.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure, Dan.
Yeah, great. So we have a couple questions we're going to work through for the community to get to know you a little bit better and learn a little more about your role. So let me start here. How long has your family been a part of DC?
That's a great question because I always say, I think it's 4 or 5 years, but I thought about it and it's 6. And that's because we started here when Elijah, my youngest son, was in pre-K. And so I have an older son, Isaiah, who's in 6th grade, Elijah, who's now in 4th grade, and then surprise baby Gabriana, who just turned 1, who will be a DC lifer starting next year. So we've been here for 6 years as a family. And then I had the pleasure and the opportunity to serve as a board member, and I got to finish 1 term. So in the last 3 years, I was a board member, and now I'm the Dean of Students.
Yeah, that's great. And we were talking before we started recording, Gabriana's had a tough time adjusting to a family of all boys, right?
Yes. So tough in her splendor of being the princess of the family and having so much attention. I think she's got it made.
That's great. Well, we look forward to having her join us as well in our ECC program when the time comes. That's great. Yeah, and so tell me a little bit about why you felt called to come and serve in this role as Dean of Students at DC.
Yeah, so this is a question, when you talk about calling, I'm so passionate about it and I can talk forever. So I'm going to try to make it really simple, but if anybody wants to come and chat with me about it, I would love a visit. So starting small, I was at my last job for 14 years as a children's and family director. There's a whole story of that, of just how God uniquely put me in youth ministry as a major and then had me go through ministry. But at the end of that 14 years was when baby Gabriana came as a surprise. And so we decided, let's just be at home, care for her. And in the midst of that, I knew that there was a next step that was going to happen. And my husband and I, Jonathan, would just talk, what are you going to do next? And I'm like, whatever it is, it has to involve God. I don't know how, and I don't know what it is, but God is going to have to make it clear.
Yeah.
And there are times, Dan, that I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what I'm supposed to do next. And I really prayed and was like, God, are you going to tell me at some point? And then the Dean of Students position came across my computer. And Dan, I read it and I went, this is it. And it was so clear. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just me. So I ran out to my husband who was working from home that day. And I said, read this. And he goes, are you going to apply? And I went, I have to. And the feeling wasn't just, this is the next job I want to have. It was this deep, just a fitting of God as saying, this is where I want you next for your season of life. This is where I'm calling you to. And I felt that so clear. And you know that because I said it to you. I was like, the Lord has just called me to this. And I think it's because He has put in me a passion for caring for children, for caring for youth, for going beyond just the regular, hey, how you doing, to really investing in their lives and investing in their lives as they walk with Christ. How can I partner with them? How can I walk with them in just figuring out what does this life mean for you? And it's hard as a teenager, but that's why I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, that's great. And I love the passion that you speak of about being called, firmly called.
Absolutely.
We're a community where all of our faculty and staff are called first and foremost to be here. It's not just a job. And
exactly.
They're here because they're passionate about the Lord's call in their life. And so it's exciting to hear that from you as well. And we talked, Shellie, from your time on the board. We loved having you on the board. You were tremendous benefit to the board and your wisdom and counsel, but seeing you move into this role, we're very excited and very excited about the gifts and talents God has given you and how they will be used here. So that's great. Tell me a little bit about some of the responsibilities of Dean of Students. This is a new role for us. Everyone's trying to understand. And so what is a Dean of Students?
So I feel like we're merging a little bit of that calling that I feel so heavy, and then because I'm Dean of Students for middle school and high school, a lot of it is partnering with Mark and Chad, Mr. Dixon and Mr. Fenley, in just student accountability and the day-to-day student life for our kids. So yes, I will be dealing with discipline. Yes, I'll be dealing with if you're late to class, if you're out of uniform. But for me, that is the admin part of it, right? But the calling part is building school culture, building relationships with the students, helping them build relationships with each other, really helping them find DC as their home and seeing that this is a part of their world as well, not just a school that they go to.
Yeah, that's great. What has been one of the most fun parts of the job? You're only in 3 weeks now. We've been talking, you've been in the hallways, you've been up at high school retreats, you've been at middle school retreats. What are some of the fun moments that you've had?
I'd have to say, like, even though being all over the place and going to the retreats and all that stuff, all those opportunities that connected me with students have been the best. And just recently, a couple of students that popped in my office, I did, sneak them in with some candy. I'm like, I got candy, so come see me. But just the visits to the office that are not related to a meeting, an official meeting, passing by, getting to know names. The students are so gracious because there's a lot of them. And I've been working hard to, get the personal one-on-ones with people, but just interactions has been the best part.
Yeah, that's great. And we talked a little bit about student culture, and that's something that's very important to us here at DC, and being intentional about building a student culture. Our theme verse this year is delight yourself in the Lord, and he will grant you the desires of your heart. And helping our students understand that as they pursue God and delight in him, he will act on their behalf. Psalm 37 tells us that he will go forward and grant them the desires of their hearts. And so important, your role to help students understand. And we talk about loving in a direction, right? That moving towards a heart that is delighting in God. So that's wonderful. Tell me, if you could, a word of encouragement that you would give to our students. We'll start there as you begin the year.
So, gosh, don't get in trouble. No.
Behave.
Exactly. Fall in line. No. For me, it's, as I think about discipline, student accountability, and school culture, I always want to say, run the race well and strong and finish strong. So a lot of it is you're running the race, you get really tired, and sometimes you want to give up, and so you stray a little bit. Sometimes you're like, is this even for me? And to continue to say, all right, I can do it. I can go all the way. And to encourage them with the fact that they're not doing it alone. They have student support with peers. They have support from teachers, from faculty, staff, and most importantly, we do it because God gives us the strength to do so. So it's not on your own. You run it. You have the partnership with God. You have the partnership of the people. And so you can finish strong. Yeah,
that's great. A word of encouragement you would have for our parents as you begin in this role and begin a new school year?
Stick with it. I like to throw around the word partnership a lot. You've heard me mention it. And I would love for our parents to see the school, staff, and faculty as partners as we care for their children. So for me, it's stick with us, partner with us, and we'll all end up in a really good place.
Yeah, that's great. Great counsel. How can we as a DC community pray for you and support you as you begin this role this year?
Come talk to me. Like, I know I say it all the time, but building relationships comes with conversation, right? So I think sometimes it's like, oh, parents will say to the kids, don't end up in the Dean of Students office. I'm like, no. Come to the Dean of Students office, get to know me. And the same for parents. Like, I would love to have open conversations. I want to hear everybody's story. I would love to share my story. And I feel like if we're conversating constantly and just in relationship with one another, we can do so much better just supporting our students here.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. We are in year 2 now of Teaching for Transformation. And Teaching for Transformation, going back to that culture we talked about, talks to our students about God's story, that there is a purpose. We're not left on earth on our own here, but we're part of God's work and God's story. And the students each have their own story, a role to play within God's story.
Absolutely.
And we talk about communicating to our students our deep hopes, that what we long, what we desire for them to learn, and how we desire to them to grow in the relationship with the Lord. And so as we conclude our time, Shellie, what would be your deep hope as Dean of Students?
So Teaching for Transformation, it's the first time I heard about it coming onto DC's campus. And I was like, this is amazing. It's a way to just really engage with the students. And I feel like some of what I've been saying has been my deep hope for the students in the community. And a lot of it is anchored in Psalm 139. You've heard me mention that verse. It's my favorite psalm because it talks clearly about God knowing us from before, like from the womb, and all the way through until the end of our lives, right? He is with us, intricately involved, knows the hairs on our head. And there's a portion of that that says you're fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God. And my deep hope is that the students here, and even us as staff and faculty, would know that we are made in the image of God, and that he loves us, and that we are loved, chosen, beloved, and that anything that comes our way, we have a partnership with God. We have God in our world, so we cannot fail, right? I think that's it, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Shellie, I'm so thankful that God has placed the call in your heart to be here at DC. We're excited to see you interact and build relationship and build culture with our students this year, with our faculty and our parents. And so we just know that we as a community are praying with you, we're praying for you, and are so excited that God has led you to this time for this season. So thanks. Well, thank you for joining us for the round table. We look forward to next month when we'll have another special guest, and we'll be able to dive in deep and learn a little more about how that individual is moving the mission of Delaware County Christian School forward. Thanks for joining us.